Okay, let's go ahead and start with 1.4, which is employee benefits. The first example here says that Alan works for a printing company, and it's been a little over 4 years since he was hired. He now makes $54,080. He was told that he had 5 days of paid vacation time, and then for each year that he worked at the company, he would gain another 2 days of paid vacation time to a maximum of 20 days. How many paid vacation days does he now get at the end of 4 years? So, first question. Second question, how much will he make on his vacation time? So the first thing that we need to do is let's go ahead and figure out how many vacation days he's earned. We know that when he first started, he got 5 vacation days. And we know after his first year, he got 2 more days. After his second year, he got 2 more days. After his third year, he got 2 more days. And it's just over 4 years since he's been there, so he has another 2 days for his 4th year. If we add all of those together, we have a total of 13 vacation days. Okay? The next thing that we need to do is we see here what he earns annually. We need to go ahead and break that down into weeks because that's how we are normally paid, is based on a 5-day work week. So if we look at that, we've got $54,080. If we divide that by 52, because there are 52 weeks in a year, we find that he earns a total of $1,040 in a week. So if we're going to have that as a week, we need to get these 13 days also in terms of a week. As I said, a week is based on a 5-day work week. So if we take that 5 and divide it into the 13 days, we find that Alan currently has 2.6 vacation weeks. Our last step is to take the 2.6, which is our vacation weeks, and multiply it by the 1,040, which is how much he earns in a week. And we find that in total, paid vacation, he gets $2,704 in compensation, which answers question B. The first question was already answered here. How many days? He has 13 days. So here's our 2 answers. On this you do, please go ahead and complete this. Pause the video at this time. When you are done, press play and we'll continue. All right, let's see how you did. It says let X represent the number of working year and Y represent the paid number of vacation days. Based on the table above, meaning the table from the example that we just did, write an algebraic expression that models the relationship between 2 variables. Now, the big area, or the formula that we usually use that relates to variables, we see that a lot when we're graphing. And we would call that our slope-intercept form, or our slope-intercept formula, which is our y equals mx plus b. So we're relating x and y to one another. And here it says we've got number of vacation days, and we've got how much he started off with. So in this case, y equals, he gets 2 vacation days for every year that he worked, plus he started off with 5. And there's your equation. How'd you do? All right, for the second example, it says Frida's employer offers health care, and she must contribute 12% of the cost. Her employer must cover the rest. Frida gets paid on a bi-weekly basis, so going back to our vocabulary, we remember that's 26 times in a year. And she notices that $88.50 is taken out of her paycheck for each portion for her contribution to her family health care. How much does Frida's employer contribute? So let's go through this. 100% is the total cost of the insurance. We know that Frida pays 12% of that, And therefore, the employer pays the other 88%. So we've got it broken down there. First thing we're going to do is let's find out annually how much Frida pays in a year. Well, she gets 26 paychecks, and out of each paycheck comes $88.50. When I multiply that, I get a total of $2,301. Now going back here, I don't know what 100% is. I do know what 12% is. I know that that's the 2301. And I don't quite know what the 88% is yet, but that's the one that I'm looking for. So in order to find that, we're going to have to find out what the 100% is, and we need to go with the information that we have. Well, we know that 12%, which is what Frida pays, of the total is 2,301. That total X being the 100%. And then, simple algebra problem, if I divide both sides by 0.12, I find out that the 100% or total cost of the insurance is $19,175. So now we can actually fill in. We know that 100% is $19,175. But remember, what we're looking for here is the 88%. We need to know what Frida paid. And as the equation says above, 100% minus the 12% is going to give us the 88%. So if I take the 100%, which is the 19,175, and I subtract the 12%, which is the 2301, I end up with that 88%, which is $16,874, and that is what Frida's employer contributes. All right, at this point, please press pause, complete the you do. When you're done, press play, and we'll move on. Okay, let's see how you did. Mark's employer offers individual health care. Mark pays D dollars out of his bi-weekly paycheck. So again, he gets paid 26 times a year. If Mark's contribution is a percentage of the total cost, where P represents that percentage, written as an equivalent decimal, represent the total cost of Mark's coverage in terms of D and P. Well, we know that D represents his number of times paid, or his paycheck, and we know that he was paid bi-weekly, so that's 26 times. And then we would divide that by P, and there's the answer to that one. Example 3, Marina works at Washington Performing Arts Center. Her employer offers her a pension, and we're going to look at calculating that pension. The retired employee will receive 1.5% of their average salary for the last 5 years of employment for each year worked. So remember, average, another term for that would be the mean. Marina is planning on retiring at the end of this year after 25 years of employment. Marina would receive this amount every year until her death. Her salaries for the last 5 years are these values as follows. Calculate her pension. Well, the first thing that we're going to have to do here is find the mean of the salaries, or the average of the salaries. So we're going to take these 5 values, and we are going to add them together. And then we're going to go ahead and divide by how many there are. And in this case, there are 5 years of employment that are being looked at. I'm missing a 0 here. So we're going to divide that whole thing by 5. And we find that her average over the last 5 years is $95,420. Our next step is we need to find what 1.5% of that is. So 1.5 times the 95,420 gives me a value of $1,431.30. Now it says that she gets that amount multiplied by her number of years employment, and she gets that every year until her death. Well, she worked 25 years, so 25 times the 1431.30 gives her a value of $35,782.50 is what Marina will get every year until her death. All right, last question. It says, in Reese's state, the weekly unemployment compensation is 60% of the 26-week average of the two highest salaried quarters. A quarter is 3 consecutive months. For July, August, September, which is a quarter, he earned $9,200. For October, November, December, he earned $9,800. So the first thing that we need to do is find the 26-week average. So we're going to take the 9,024, add it to the 9,800, and then we're going to divide it by 26. That's a total of 18,824 when I add those together, divided by 26, which gives a week average of $724. Of that, Reese is going to earn 60% of that value, or 0.60 as a decimal. So the amount that he will get is $434.40 for each year.